Alright, so today I want to talk about a really fundamental technique for my playing that, again, I stole from Flamenco, called the Rasgueado, which, essentially is just using not just the plucking motion of your fingers to generate a sound, but also using the back of the finger. And going back to my previous video, and by the way, this is going to be a longer video, so if you want to see the full one, please check out the link in my bio on taking you to YouTube. And the reason why this is so important is because, like I said in my previous video on the quadruplet pattern, I would say maybe one of the most important principles for getting better at fingerstyle guitar or classical it is basically this idea of keeping this plane of your wrist as straight as possible, because as you begin to contort it, if you start doing that over a long period of time, this is how people get carpal tunnel, because you got a nerve called the median nerve running through the canal going into the wrist that can basically get inflamed with a lot of movement and friction. And so you don't want that, and so really it's important to be doing technical exercises that are strengthening the forearm muscles and the intrinsic muscles of the hand, so that basically all your power is coming from your knuckles. And a really good technique to strengthen this and kind of work these muscles is the Rasgueado. And like I said, it's a really fundamental technique that I use for basically all the arrangements that I do or songs that I play, like the Whole Lotta Love that I, opened with. I'm basically using, the Rasgueado technique by, going down with my finger, my first finger, I as we call it in classical, and going up with my middle finger. And it just allows for a more economic way of playing. And so an easy way to get started with this is just focusing one finger at a time, and you can start by just planting your thumb on the roof of the guitar. And I recommend just going really slowly. You can maybe just start on the E string and pick a note and just focus on, start with the I or the index finger. And when you're doing this, again, you want to kind of make sure that you're not like moving your wrist a lot, and the power is coming from the knuckle. And you should be kind of feeling a little bit of, you want to have a little bit of, flexion in your forearm, so that you can keep this playing straight. I think that's something that a lot of people get wrong. There's this idea that, you want to be relaxed when you're playing. That's true, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to have muscles that are being actualized. I think it's just a matter of people, as they get better, they forget about all the muscles that are working. Just like when you're walking, you're not thinking about all the muscles that, you're using to walk. And so, like I said, an easy way to just start working this is just do it one finger at a time, and just focus on, trying not to move the other fingers as much as possible, but, if they move, that's okay. That's more finger independence, and I'll be talking about that later. But to begin with, just doing one finger at a time, and again, slowly and meaningful movements. And I recommend doing it with all three of the main fingers that you'll be using for fingerstyle. We don't use the pinky, it's the neglected one. Flamenco guitarists do, but I don't. But you know what? I used to actually do Rasgueados with the pinky, now that I come to, because, again, it's good at just strengthening all the muscles. And again, the fundamental reason why this is so important, going back to the anatomy, is really you've got two muscle groups that make up the forearm and hand muscles, extensors and flexors. And so you're mostly working the flexors during a plucking movement, but we also want to be working the extensors. That's going to come to our benefit going forward. And so I think this is a really important technique that a beginner should be working on. So once you sort of get the individual fingers working. Another thing that people do is you can start kind of doing multiple fingers, and so like here I'm going down, down, down with I, M, and A, down, 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 and then you can come back up with the 3 fingers in the opposite orientation, up, 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 if you can see that. So down, 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 up, 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 down, 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 up, up, down, 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 up, up, up. And this is a cool way, you know, once you get faster, you can start doing fun stuff like that. I would say in my playing, I mostly do I and M, or index middle kind of alternating, where I'm just going down with the middle, down with the index, up with the middle, up with the index. And so this is another really good exercise, and I'm just playing an A major chord here. And again, while I'm doing this, focusing on keeping this plane straight. That's the most important thing you can do, especially if you're first starting. Because again, as you start to contort it, that's when people start to have problems. So, hope this was helpful.